Is accountability right or wrong? Today I will discuss with you the death penalty and whether it is right or is it wrong. Today I'm also crediting Bill Anderson and German philosopher Nietzsche and a few others as we go along in this speech. It connects to you guys by your money goes to this, and if something bad were to happen to you, what would you want to happen to the criminal? So there's crime, consequences, lethal injection, lethal gas, execution, hanging, and the firing squad. So what do they all have in common? They all relate to the death penalty. So is it good or is it bad? There's positives and negatives to both. Just wait and see. The death penalty is important. Accountability ranges, and one must serve the consequences. So to get started, what is the death penalty to be exact? Well, basically, a death penalty is a sentence of execution for murder and some other capital crimes which are serious crimes, especially murder, which are punishable by death, according to uslegal.com. Currently, 36 states are in favor and have it legalized, and that is over half of the United States, but Iowa is not in favor. It is not legal. My visual aid for today is a map of the United States showing in red the states that have it legalized and in blue the states that do not have it legalized. And then in the purple it has the states with a governor-imposed moratorium. So here's the graph. It kind of shows you how over half of the United States is in favor. But Iowa does not have it in favor. So there's lethal injection, lethal gas, the firing squad, electrocution, and hanging. These options all have the choice of the inmate. The inmate gets to choose what they want to die from. The most common is lethal injection, according to clarkprosecutor.org. There is a one-drug anesthetic protocol. Basically, the anesthetic overdose is what it is called overall, which is basically just a numbing drug. Then there is a 3-drug protocol, which includes an anesthetic, the numbing drug, which used to be sodium thiopental until recently in 2010 when it was introduced to pentobarbital. And then the pancuronium bromide, which is a paralytic agent, which can also be called pavluon. And this is the paralytic agent which paralyzes the person. And then potassium chloride, which stops the heart and causes death. There are cons to the death penalty. The death penalty is a form of revenge. It shows people it is okay to kill people for doing something wrong. And then it is also cruel and unusual punishment, which is illegal according to the Constitution. There could be a botched execution, which means that maybe if you're going to use the lethal injection example, maybe there is a botched execution where the chemicals do not react well in a person's body, which could create a problem of being more suffering than what was intended. But there are more pros to the death penalty. The cost. Holding someone in jail without parole is 4 times more costly than execution, according to NBC right now. It also lowers the crime rate. Less people are likely to perform badly. If they know that something bad could happen to them for them doing something bad to another person, they might not do what they were going to do in the first place. It also teaches a lesson. It teaches that the government is in control and crimes are not tolerated. It's also comfort and security for victims and the victim's family and knowing an abuser, murderer, or another harmful person is gone and that they can't bother them anymore. It holds people responsible for their actions. Consequences will be given and one must abide because they have no choice. It is not painful. There's the anesthetic, the paralyzer, and then the person is gone. I talked to Bill Anderson, and he said, personally, I believe in the death penalty. If a person can make a conscious choice to take one's life for no other reason than to watch them suffer, then that person should be held accountable and have their life taken away. Then I researched a German philosopher named Nietzsche, who said, beware that when fighting monsters, you yourself do not become the monster. For when you gaze long into the abyss gazes also at you. Which Bill replied to that, saying, "But the world is full of evil monsters that I think should be eliminated by man, as to quicken their journey to their Maker." So then in conclusion, the positives outweigh the negatives. There would be a world with less crime, and people would be held accountable. There are crime, consequences, lethal injection, lethal gas, electrocution, hanging, and firing squad. What do they all have in common? Well, they're all reasonable outcomes for serious criminals who need to be held accountable for their actions. So, I ask you, this is important to me because if something bad were to happen to me or to one of my family members, I would not want the criminal to be living. I don't think you would either. So, if you take this into consideration, just know that the bad person would be gone.